Well, hello everyone. So I uploaded a short. I got a lot to say in this video, so I'm gonna make the video while I'm driving back home. I just finished up a door job, and I'm gonna tell you some stories. So I'm here on a job in kind of East Jacksonville, and the whole house is covered in a canopy of like water oaks or trees. And so whenever I first got there, I uploaded a video where a baby raccoon fell out of the tree, and a cat went to go get the baby raccoon, but then the mama came down and the baby raccoon was like rah, rah, rah. And so the mama raccoon came down and got it and brought it back up the tree, and the cat was sitting there chilling and waiting. So that all happened right whenever I pulled up at the house, and I was getting a couple things ready, and all of a sudden I hear this thud. I thought it was a tree branch. It turns out it was a freaking baby raccoon. So fast forward, I'm taking the door out, and there was a lot of wildlife in the door. So we're sitting there fighting off wildlife as I'm removing the door. Insects of varying types. And so anyways, I'm going through, getting every doors all torn out, and I walk back to my truck to grab some stuff. And whenever I'm walking back, I guess during that time period, the homeowner was trying to kick out the raccoon. Like, the raccoon came into the house. He's like, get out of my house, get out of my house. So the raccoon come running around and runs into me. And here I am carrying a ladder, my little step ladder, and a handful of tools. And the raccoon like bows up and does this here, like, hey. And I'm like, whoa, who you bowing up at? I'm like, get out of my way. And the raccoon sitting there, he's like, so anyway, I was sitting there trying to fight off a damn raccoon while doing this door. So anyways, it was a very interesting door install. Everything's done and he's happy. I got me a little check here I can cash on Monday. But yeah, I was like, just today was a day of wildlife. I mean, there was like geckos and lizards and, all kinds of stuff. I mean, this is like with the house being in a canopy, it's kind of, it holds in a lot of different types of things. So I was kind of giving them some little pointers of like, hey, go buy some termite stuff and don't worry about spraying it. Just open the lid and pour that shit out around your house. Because the old 80s wood frame, siding house, and if you don't take care of them, then things will fall apart when you have a canopy of trees. So, but anyways, I want to talk about some videos that I made that I have not uploaded. And I made a video, and while thinking about that video, I realized there were some things that I missed in, talking about what I was talking about. And then I made a clarification video. And I was like, you know what? Instead of just doing it, I'm going to redo the video. So what I want to talk about is the hypocrisy of EVs, electronic vehicles, wind farms, solar farms, about the perception that they are the ones saving the planet. Okay? Now, I am not against solar farms, wind farms, nor am I against EVs. Okay? If someone wants to buy a Tesla, that's fine. Right now, there is not a vehicle made that's electric that fits my lifestyle nor my budget. So, and I've talked with a lot of people, and everybody said, I'm not buying no damn EV. And when I say a lot, I'm talking about probably every customer I've had in the past year, where I ask, I'm always asking people, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And everybody's like, they're nice for other people. That's what pretty much everybody says, but they don't want one in their life. So, and the hypocrisy I'm talking about is the fact that there is a movement of ideology that if you drive an electric vehicle, a plug-in vehicle, that you are saving the planet. And I would hope that everybody learns the alternate side. Yes, you are getting rid of carbon monoxide. Yes, you're getting rid of a CO2 footprint. Yes, you're consuming less fossil fuels, okay, as an individual. But as a whole, making them, shipping the batteries all across the world, going back and forth on cargo ships, the fact that the batteries, the lithium-ion batteries, are not recyclable, and you have these warehouses stored, you know, with huge fire suppression systems. God forbid one ever catches fire. It takes 2 to 3 days for it to go out. In fact, there's a television show called, not Top Gear, Grand Tour on Amazon, and they actually raced an electronic car. I think it was called a Rivian or some kind of, it was a really expensive car, and he ended up wrecking it and it caught fire, and they were explaining on how you cannot put out a fire once it started an electric car. It just, you can't do it. Not without, I'm sure there's some kind of very dangerous chemical that you use that is probably hazardous to everybody's health. But above and beyond that, above and beyond all the huge cargo ships carrying around all these materials, you know, trying to make the batteries before it's even in the car, you know, let's forget the fact that the batteries go bad. They're not very efficient. They are efficient, but not very efficient, and you can't recycle them. But let's talk about mining, the lithium, the cobalt, I mean, you got all these things that they're mining by literal slavery, by children. Okay, you can look at the cobalt mines and all the stories about where they, you know, opened up and got cameras inside these mines where there's little children and like slaves, like literal slaves. So if you drive an electric car, you know, in a roundabout way, you are promoting child endangerment and slavery. You know, I mean, this is what it's, you know, it's other countries. These minerals are coming from other countries. You know, we're not digging for them here. And I'm gonna find it very interesting if the party that says they want, you know, less oil and less mining and less all this other stuff, you know, if they start digging for lithium and you know, I'm trying to remember that there was a third one, I can't remember it, but it's nickel. You know, nickel. It's not clean to dig this stuff up out of the ground. I'm not saying it's the end of the world, but it's definitely not a clean environment, and a lot of people die digging it out. And it's not just in the electric vehicles, it's also in your cell phones and laptops and in my DeWalt batteries and everything else. So, you know, but the problem isn't the car. The problem is the messaging that's going with the car that isn't, you know, is only one side of the story. So we could talk about solar farms, which solar isn't that bad. Okay, I'm going to say it. I am about saving the planet, you know, but you don't hurt the planet to try to save it. And that's kind of the message I'm trying to put across, is that, you know, having a solar panel on your house, or, you know, having a few panels around your house, that's fine. You know, it takes energy off the grid to help out. You know, it does a lot of things. But making these massive solar arrays that support an entire city, well, you know, there's a lot of points where things can go bad. And, you know, when you don't have air conditioning or don't have heating, people die. So basing everything off that, you know, all it takes is a little glitch, and the next thing you know, the infrastructure isn't there for it to support an entire civilization, put it that way. And then the wind turbines, the big bird killers up in the air. So if you do so, all you got to do is trees cut down for wind farm. You're going to see numbers in the millions of where they'll have, I think in one story, it was like 14 million trees were cut down to put up a wind farm. And yes, I do know that they replant the trees, but they don't replant full-grown trees. They're taking away full-grown trees and putting in seedlings and stuff that may or may not take in the new area that they're planting them in. You know, and you're also changing the environment. If you take a forest and remove it and put it somewhere else, well, you just change the whole ecosystem of what's going on, which is supposed to be against the whole tree hugger movement. You know, I would say square acres, but there's square miles of trees that being cut down for wind farms. And here's the hypocrisy that I was talking about. So you put in wind farms to get rid of CO2 gas emissions, but then the trees are what literally eat the CO2 and turn it into oxygen. So it's like you're getting rid of the mechanism that's fixing the problem. Like I'm confused. Like, you know, again, it doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe I'm missing a particular part of the story, you know, but, you know, and again, I'm not against someone having a windmill or someone having multiple windmills. But when you clear 14 million trees to put up wind farms, which last about 8 years, which is less time than what it takes to grow a damn tree, you know, and then all these propeller blades and all these windmill parts are being thrown and just abandoned. You can see them all over the place. There's stories where these pieces of windmill, because they're not recyclable. You know, they say we're using renewable energy, except for the fact that you can't recycle the solar panels, you can't recycle the freaking solar blade, the wind blades, and you can't recycle the batteries in the cars. How the F is that renewable? You know, and I'm smiling. I'm not angry. I'm just, you know, it's like I'm definitely missing something. Like there got to be more to the story. And I've been looking. I've been talking with people. You know, the customer I'm just with, he's a biologist. He's part of the, you know, Save the Planet movement. He goes out and looks at ecosystems and goes out and see if there's any endangered species and puts in programs to save them before building, you know, strip malls and neighborhoods and all this stuff. That's his job. And even he's like, these people are freaking crazy, you know. Like he's like, yeah, the cars don't make no damn sense, you know, and he's literally saving the planet. So, you know, I love my brain, the fact that I'm not one of these people who hears one thing and just, yep, that's the truth, you know. And again, I've said it hundreds of times on this channel, okay? Everybody has their own truth because of their life experiences, because of their education, because of their environment they were raised in. Everybody has their own truth, okay? And it's not until we fight and argue and have debates that we learn who's right and who's wrong, because everybody can't be 100% true, you know. Again, I'm not saying that any of this stuff is bad, but the bad parts of it is not, you know, it's not 100% good either. You know, having everybody owning an electric car is not the savior to the planet, because the amount of chemicals and all the metals and everything you got to pull up out of the ground, which you still have to pull up some of them for cars. I'm not for regular cars, but electric cars is not the savior. Having everything solar is not the savior of this planet. Okay, if anything, we're going to accumulate more trash that we don't know what to do with. Even nuclear energy, which is by far the greatest source of energy, has a downside. It's called radioactive waste. You know, I mean, it's either fusion, which seems to be the cleanest and best energy to have, hydrogen, which due to the Hindenburg has some downfalls. You know, I mean, there's a lot of other things. In fact, speaking of which, what the hell happened to a hybrid? What about gas over electric or electric over gas? That seemed to be working pretty good. Why? We skipped the thing that was kind of sort of working a middle ground. We skipped it and said, no, we ain't doing this. We're going straight to here. We're going full tilt to this crazy ass idea of saving the planet wrongly. I do think they want to save the planet, but you can't turn a blind eye of destroying this piece of the planet and saving this piece, because it's all on one big round ball. And I'm saying that for the flat earthers out there. And I have one that I'm going to talk to. He is a devout flat earther, okay? And I don't pick on him. I don't discredit him. He has not provided me enough evidence to sway my opinion that the earth is round, which it's going to take a lot. I'm going to talk to him and see if he wants to come in and have a on-camera debate on this channel. And again, I'm not a professional. He'll probably beat the shit out of me with statistics and math because I don't go around doing that. He's a professional flat earther. He goes through and has all the different schematics and the maps and all that stuff, and I want to bring him on the channel and have a talk with him, and I'm open-minded enough that if he puts out enough information, then I'll say the earth is flat. It's going to have to be a lot. So, but going back to the car thing, okay, so let's say hypothetically they figured out a way to mine everything, and then they figured out a way to recycle the batteries, and they figured out a way to do all this stuff, okay? Well, when you plug in that car, that power right now comes from somewhere, and it's usually a natural gas or a coal-fired plant that's producing the electricity. But if we get rid of that, then we don't have electricity. Or, again, back in the utopia that we live in, everybody has an electric car. The world is now the most peaceful place in the world. Everybody has a Tesla or the Rivian pickup or whatever, the Nissan Leaf or whatever, Chevy Volt. I'm including everybody. So everybody has an electric car. Everybody plugs it in. But what happens then? There ain't no way in hell that the power system's going to hold up if everybody has 20 damn refrigerators being plugged in at one time. And that's the estimation of a quick charge is like the same as plugging in 20 refrigerators in your house. I don't know, to be fair, that's a statistic that I pulled off Google, so I don't know how true it is, but it seems to be pretty valid considering, I mean, if you really want to save the planet, don't buy a new car at all. Don't factor into them keep mass producing cars. Go out and buy a used car. Oh, I'm sorry if that was loud. But like Hoochie Mama here, go buy a used car and run that shit till the wheels fall off. Okay, all these people, oh, I'm rich, I'm going to buy a new fancy car and I'm going to pay the carbon tax. Speaking of which, carbon tax. People are allowed to fly in private jets and drive all these things and have these multi-million-dollar mansions. And again, I'm not mad. Okay, but the hypocrisy is there. They have this big giant thing spending $1,000 a month in electricity trying to air condition a 5,000 square foot home with 4 people living in it. Okay, and you're gonna get mad because I drive an old pickup truck or an old van or something like that. That's what I gotta say. Again, it's not, I don't care if someone's rich. I don't care if someone wants to spend money, spend money. But if you really, really, really want to save the planet, quit buying shit. Quit living outside the means. Quit going out and spending all this stupid money on stupid shit. Bam! I just saved everything. Look at that. Y'all have no idea how awesome I am. The shit that's in here. I could literally save the planet. I can get everybody a job. It's real simple. Everybody can have a house, believe it or not. Free. It's that simple. And you're probably thinking, oh, you're full of shit. Yes, I am. I haven't pooped yet today. But that don't make me wrong. Because my truth is my truth. And I know some shit. I've been talking to a lot of people. I've been in y'all's houses. I know how y'all live. And I've seen who's doing it right and who's doing it wrong. So, I'm getting off track a little bit. But that's okay, because that's what I do. But again, to kind of summarize all this, it's not the fact that there's electric vehicles or wind farms or solar panels or even Hummers or giant military vehicles running around. Okay? Well, let me back up 1 second. There's one thing that I missed. Okay, so before I summarize, I want to add one little thing. The biggest polluter on American soil is not us, it's not corporations, but the government itself. Anybody who is in the military, anybody who's ever been out at sea and they have a live party, a live fire exercise, anybody who's ever witnessed what the government does with their trash knows that the biggest polluter in this country is our government. All right, I've seen it with my own eyes. They have hermetically sealed trash bags to save the environment. They throw it over the side of the ship. I'm talking about the size of like a handicap bus. Huge bags that they seal up. Okay, and they're supposed to be sealed so it protects the environment. And then we have a live fire exercise and shoot machine guns at the trash bags so they sink quicker. Think about that for a second. You know, and take in mind it's been a long time since I've been in the military, so they may have perfected the model of cleaning up our oceans. Okay, I'm just saying. Anyways, back to the summary of this thing. Okay, I am in no way saying that electric vehicles or any way to save on electricity or provide other forms of electricity. I'm not saying that that's the bad thing. What I'm trying to say is that good thing has a lot of bad sides to it. And to ignore that is to basically live life with little blinders on. So you're just like, you know, I don't want to see nothing else. I don't want my little feelings to get hurt. So that's basically what the last two videos was about, is me talking about the hypocrisy, or me talking bad about EVs, and then I made another one saying it's not about the EVs, it's not about what they're trying to do, it's the hypocrisy of cutting down trees to save the planet, to, you know, say we have renewable resources that aren't renewable, you know, because you can't recycle the stuff, you know. So, you know, honestly, I think we were at our best in 1995. I think that's when everything went sideways, because in 1995, actually the early 90s, and you young bucks will have no idea about this, but all the shit that they're talking about, trying to get 50 miles to the gallon, we had cars that did it. The Geostorm, Geo Metro, Chevy Cavalier got 33 miles to the gallon. Pickups, the 94 Silverado was getting like, you know, mid-20s. And then in 96, they brought out the ODB2 computer system for cars to perfect them, and it made everything worse. Gas mileage went down, some went up, but most of it went horribly wrong. And now we have cars so computerized and everything, and, you know, they messed them up. You know, but a ODB1 late 90s vehicle is, if you can find one that hasn't been completely trashed, one of the best vehicles to have. You know, and they get great gas mileage. They're, you know, you don't have to have a $3,000 computer to fix it. You literally had a paper clip, and anybody who's a mechanic knows you could find out what's wrong with the car with a freaking paper clip. You know, so. But anyways, this is hopefully an eye-opening video. If you got down to the very end, if you've made it to this part of the channel, please like and subscribe. And I'd love for you to comment hypocrisy. And if you don't know how to spell it, then just type H. So, because I don't even think I can spell it. In fact, hell, I can barely say it. So, but anyways, that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. And peace, love, money. I'm out.